Hey guys, welcome back. I know I probably say this far too often, but I am so excited for today. We are going to build our first actual buildings in Castletown, and this feels like an important moment. Partly because if I get this wrong, we won't be off to the most auspicious start, but also because to some extent, the buildings we make here are going to determine the style of the whole project. So, oh lord, I hope I get this right. But I think if we start off small, we can hopefully get this ball rolling. And that means we will be starting out with our guard hut, which is also perfect because it leads on from all the work we've done on top of the walls with the patrols and everything, so this should be good. But there is only one way to find out if it will be, so let's get building. And with that, we have our guard hut. And while it may be small, I think it is a perfect first build for this project. I mean, the interior is pretty simple, which isn't going to be the case for the majority of this project. I do want to make them more detailed than this, but I figure this guard hut serves as more of a pass-through place, so it doesn't need to be highly decorated or anything. Plus, this is kind of giving me waiting room vibes, which also somehow feels incredibly appropriate. And I'm currently thinking of maybe adding a villager behind the desk, but I haven't quite decided if I want to use villagers in this project yet, so we can obviously work that out later. But I did put the honey in the floor to stop them jumping over the desk if we do decide to add them, because I will definitely forget to add that otherwise. We also have, as I think I previously mentioned, the way up and down from the walls for the guards who are on patrol, and we have some nice handy signs both down here and on top of the wall to say which way people should be going up and down, because no one needs to bump into someone who's going the wrong way on the ladder. As for the outside, we have our banners up top to really hammer home that this is the guard hut with the sword and shield, and banners are definitely one of the things I want to try and use a decent amount, because I feel like they can add a lot of detail to a build, and while signs are great for a lot of things, I think at least sometimes I want to use banners just to mix things up. And as for these specific banner designs, I found both of them on Planet Minecraft when just browsing through the banners, and both of them were by anonymous users, but obviously a huge thank you to whoever designed them because they are just so good. And if you're ever looking for cool banner designs, there are just so many on there, so definitely take a look. And then finally, we of course have our two guards standing out front, making sure to keep an eye on everyone nearby and ensuring no one unauthorized gets onto the walls. And as much as I love these guys just standing here like this, I think I have an idea to make this even cooler, because I remember seeing Tango on the Hermitcraft server make the armor stands move using the armor stand book and some redstone, and that sounds like an awesome idea. So, let's see what we can do. Now that is exactly what I was hoping for. One position when they're all on guard, and one position where they're all relaxed and looking around, and this is such a cool feature. And you may be wondering, why the chicken? Well, I didn't really want to put this system on like an actual timer or anything. I wanted it to feel random and spontaneous and also not happen super often. So I figured a chicken just walking over these pressure plates would do the trick perfectly. Plus, it keeps the redstone very compact in a one high space, which I am always here for some compact systems. And in case you were wondering, this is all done through the armour stand datapack, and the way this works is by saving 2 different poses into the armour stand book, which is inside the utilities, and you can just copy it, and then if you put the book into an item frame and a redstone line goes through the same block that the book is in, when the redstone is triggered, it triggers the closest armour stand to take the pose that you copied. So we have 2 books for each armour stand, and all I had to do was be very careful not to get the books mixed up and put them on the wrong side, and then when the chicken walks over the pressure plates, the poses just change. I'm honestly not sure how much we'll use this in other places in this project. I mean, obviously if I think of a good way to use it, then I of course will, but it's definitely more to add a little flavour here because I thought it would fit and also look really cool. Once again, I am at least trying to not overuse the armour stands and everything. I know it definitely doesn't look that way right now, but this area is definitely more armour stand heavy than most other places in this project. But yeah, this is definitely a tool to keep on our belt in case it will be useful in future places. But now our guard hut is fully decked out, it's time to turn our attention to the other build I want to do today, which is this depot right here. And while the guard hut is good progress in itself, I would really love to get this whole little section all looking good today. So let's get cracking. I have to say, I do kind of love this building. It just feels so lived in. The worn out floor, the plants growing through the ground, the broken cart just abandoned to one side when the wheel fell off. Even the little movement from the banners all just comes together to really make this depot shine. And actually, speaking of the banners, I used a very helpful website to get the letters right, so I'll put a link to that in the description in case anyone is interested. But overall, I am just so happy with this. Eventually, I think I want to add some of these carts going to and from the docks once we've actually done some work out there to create a proper connection between the 2 places, but even as just a static thing, I feel like you immediately get the sense that this is a place of transport and commerce, which is exactly what I was hoping for. And I did also mention at the start that our buildings today were really going to start setting the tone and style for this project. And I think even with just these 2 buildings, you can really start to see some of what I'm going for. We've got the dark corners and the brick roofs, banners to add detail, and as we learned from our swamp project, plenty of foliage and bits of detail dotted around to tie the whole thing together. Things will, of course, become even more cohesive once we've done other things like adding some roads, maybe some street lamps and other bits and bobs, but for now, I am incredibly happy with our progress. But speaking of progress, I think that is more than enough for one episode, so I am going to leave this episode here. And next time, I want to tackle probably the biggest building in all of Lower Town, so I am very excited for that. But until then, thank you guys for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!